This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Just like a band has a set list of the songs they played for you that night, here's my set list of the videos I produced for you last week. Wow, Gen Con was crazy, and I was able to get in early the day before it opened while people were setting up, and before the crowds get in on Thursday, so that allowed me to get almost all of the hot games that I really wanted before even the crowd got in, which allowed me to do much more game playing at Gen Con than I did in the past. I was able to spend most of my time playing games, which was awesome. So because of that, I was able to get home and not just hit the ground running, but hit it sprinting. I put out more than twice the amount of videos I normally would in a given week because I really wanted to get you all this information quick because I know everyone is jonesing over the hotness of Gen Con, so let's go over what I showed you. Alright, so we first had ExLibris. This was my #1 most anticipated game at Gen Con this year from Renegade Game Studios. It is a worker placement game where you're going to be basically placing in different spots to gather books to then shelve them, and you're trying to create your own library by placing books in the right order, alphabetically and numerically. You're also trying to collect specific types of books for more points for secret goals, also trying to avoid certain banned books, and it's a really interesting game and I liked it quite a bit. The next one was Custom Heroes. This is basically like a card shedding or ladder climbing game where you're going to be playing cards, but the coolest thing is you're going to be upgrading your heroes with these transparent cards. And so what this allows you to do is upgrade them and add numbers or subtract numbers or give them weapons and stuff. And so it's really cool because you can manipulate the cards, and then every game is going to feel different because the cards are different, and then once you've played them they all get shuffled up and then they go back into everyone else's hands after they get shuffled, so you're powering up somebody for somebody else later. Really cool game, one of the best card games I've played all year. The next one was the expansion for Jamaica. It's called Jamaica The Crew. Jamaica is a popular racing family game, and this one adds a really cool element where you can add crew members to your ship, and each of them give you a special ability. There's different types, ones that are good at combat, ones that's good with resources, ones that's good with magic special abilities and stuff. And so it was a really cool idea there, and it was implemented very well. The next one was a sneak peek of Ticket to Ride. I got a chance to look at the new Ticket to Ride, and we got to see, well, it's coming out in October. It's France and out west United States, or Old West United States, where it's really cool. So two very different mechanisms on two very different boards, but it's really interesting. So go see my sneak peek to see what mechanisms are there, and it's coming out at Essen later this year. I took a look at Bob Ross, The Art of Chill. This is a mass market type game going into Target, but it actually has some really good mechanisms with it. I was very surprised and pleasantly surprised how much I liked it. You're gonna be grabbing paints as set collection and brushes and trying to paint faster than Bob and trying to paint faster than everybody else that's there. Very interesting game, much better than I thought it was going to be. Next was Whitehall Mystery. This is essentially a streamlined version of Letters from Whitechapel, which is my favorite hidden movement game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. This made it a lot smaller, did make it a little faster, and cut out a lot of the extra mechanisms in there. It's about as pure as you can get for hidden movement. So go see all the things that are different from the original and how much more streamlined it is. Loved it. The next one was Shark Island. This also made my top 10 most anticipated games for Gen Con, and I gotta say this one disappointed, unfortunately. The theme was cool, had some good components, but the gameplay did not live up. It fell really flat for us, so go see why to see if that means it would fall flat for you, or maybe not. Next, I got a chance to sit down with Bruno Cathala. Once a year, I get to see him in person. It's usually at Gen Con, and he got to show me an upcoming sequel to the Spiel des Jahres winner King Domino called Queen Domino. This is more of a gamer version of King Domino's. Lots more to think about. You have different types of, there's a new type of area called cities, and you can buy buildings to put into those cities, which give you more points or special abilities or different end game goals. You can also burn down some of those buildings with a dragon if you think someone really wants one. You can also, if you get enough towers on those buildings, get the queen, who gives you discounts and points at the end of the game. Really cool. If you like the King Domino engine but felt like it was a little too light for you, this might change that because it's very good, coming out at Spiel at Essen in October. And finally, I did a Dice Steeple podcast. Sam Healy and I have been doing a Dice Steeple podcast for over a year year now. And what the idea about this is talking about gaming, but also trying to bridge the gap between different worldviews. And so we had on Stefan Brosseau from Yellow, we had on Mike Fitzgerald, game designer, and we had on Dukes of Dice, Alex. And we talked about theming in gaming, and we also talked a lot about what was going on at Gen Con. Well, it was a crazy week in the midst of all this. So next week, I'm going to try to have some reviews, definitely not as many as I did this week. It's going to fall off quite a bit, but I am dead tired. Got you a ton of new reviews. We'll see you next week.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.